Hello, friends. My name is Sunil Robert. In fact, my professional calling has not always been clear to me. Today, if I say I'm one of the finest communicators ever that was produced by India and sent onto the global stage, it would not be an exaggeration. In addition to my professional global awards that I may have won, I published books, one of them being a bestseller within 10 days, endorsed by biggest global leaders like Ratan Tata and Joseph Kennedy and so on. But those are my professional accolades that came much later. I always struggled to find out, particularly in the early part of my career, what to do with my life. So now I want to share with some of you what the word career means to you, or what the word purpose might mean to you, or even what is the word calling mean to you. So if you are always struggling to find out what is the best course for you, what is the best education you should get after, what is likely to allow you to climb the pathways to success, then here are some tips. My struggle was my parents wanted me to do something. I did not want to do the same thing. I hated what my parents wanted. For example, they put me in a polytechnic to study electronics and communication. I hated electronics. I hated printed circuit boards. I hated soldering. I did not like what I was sent for. So I had no choice but to grit and bear it for 3 years, somehow pass that diploma, and then try and get into a job. And again, I struggled because for an electronics and communications diploma holder, you're probably going to, again, a government job which allowed you to just do some solderings, manufacture TVs, a boring type of a job that I did not personally enjoy. Don't get me wrong, it's a great profession. Now semiconductors rule the world. All our smartphones have shrunk into a palm top. But for me personally, I struggled with electronics. So it took a lot of detours and struggles to finally come to where my real calling was. So don't look at your life's journey as a quest for a career. Career is something that you will just give you a livelihood. So there are 4 levels in which you can get to a job. So the first level is livelihood. How do you get your livelihood? That's basic level. So there are people who do odd jobs. In today's world, there is called the gig economy. You can become a freelancer. How do you earn your livelihood is at the base level. The next level is a career. A career is what you want to specialize in. Where would you want to spend a bulk of your entire adult life pursuing or practicing a direction in your career? But there's a third level which is even better, which is called calling. What are you called to do? In fact, the word calling assumes that there is a caller. In other words, that you have certain God-given gifts and talents that you are brought to this world to accomplish. So there is livelihood, there is career, then there is that third level which is called the calling. But there's even a higher calling. And I believe that is destiny. What are you destined to do? What are you really anointed to do? What are you put in this world for? The raison d'etre, the real reason that you are into this world. And so that actually has another 4 components to it. In fact, that was popularized by this very famous book called the Ikigai. It's a Japanese term. Ikigai means the sweet spot where 4 different elements come together. The first one is, what are you good at? Again, going back to my story, I was not good at electronics. I was good at something relating to creativity, to communication, to language, to making networks with people. Those were my strengths. But to put me in a room just to solder electronics for hours together, you might as well put me in a prison. So if you're good at something and you end up choosing a career which is not allowing you to demonstrate or display your talents, your life will be a misery. So what are you good at? Element 1. Element 2 is what the world needs. The world needs all sorts of professions, but are you able to match your gifts and talents to what the world needs? That's the second part. The third part is not only what you're good at, what you love. There's a fundamental difference between what you're good at and what you love. You might love something, but you're not necessarily good at it. For example, in my case, I love cricket. For 24/7, I could actually be watching or analyzing or reading cricket. But would that allow me to go and pursue a professional career in anything around cricket? Maybe not. So, what you're good at, what you love are two different things. But then that also needs to play in, because you'll spend 50, 60 years of your waking life, adult life, pursuing a career, pursuing a calling. So, what you love is an important element. And finally, will you be paid for it? You can't live on love and fresh air, right? So, will you be paid for it? I'll tell you, in my own journey, first I started in that technical sales, which involved electronics. Then I moved into sales. Then I moved into advertising. Then I moved into PR and communications. And every single experience I accumulated brought me closer to my ikigai, that sweet spot where all the four elements came together. In fact, the word for purpose is like ikigai. The purpose is a combination of all these four elements. What the world needs, what can you be paid for, what do you love, and what you're good at. In that sweet spot is your purpose. The Latin word for purpose is to go to a place. Meaning, if you purpose in your heart to do something, you want to go there, you want to achieve certain things. And that purpose is your life's purpose. What's your mission? In fact, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you will see that I said, my mission is to make and transform the world through my communication skills. Very, very clear. I want to use all my communication skills to transform the world. So in other words, the books that I write, the inspirational talks I give, the fitness that I pursue, all of that is harnessed through the communication skills to inspire others. So those are the elements that make up your ultimate destiny. Don't look for a career. Don't look for just finding your calling. You need to find something that will allow you to fulfill your destiny. What's your biggest dream? If you don't have big, audacious dreams, then you are just trying to make a living. You are at level 1. You got to go to the level 4, which is destiny. What are you called for? What makes you sad if they don't let you do something? What makes you happy when they let you do something? In fact, I met two people in this India trip recently. One boy apparently always Google searches and says which jobs are the highest paid these days. And he keeps telling his parents, Mom, I'll pursue this career. Dad, I'll pursue this career. Purely from a monetary standpoint. And then there's another young man I met. He loves music. And his dad is telling him, you do MPC and intermediate in math, physics and chemistry. And then once you have some degree of an engineering degree, you can pursue whatever you want. And so the dad is trying to put engineering degree as an insurance just in case if math doesn't take off. So you'll always be faced with this pragmatic, practical decisions to make versus this ideal dreams that you need to pursue. So you'll fall somewhere in the middle, and that's where your faith will come into hand. For example, the word vision, what's your vision for your life, is very important. Where do you see yourself? In fact, that's a common question people ask in interviews. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's a cliched question, but that's a question that people ask. And even as a child, if any uncle or aunt is visiting, they'll say, Babu, beta, what do you want to become when you grow up? That's the question they ask. In other words, they're asking you, do you have a vision for yourself as you grow older, as you see yourself into young adulthood? The word vision, actually the root word is vis, which is power and strength. In other words, if you do have a vision to where you want to go, you have strength, you have power. If you don't have a vision, in fact, there's a very nice proverb in the book of Proverbs that says, where there is no vision, people perish. In other words, what is happening is, because they don't have vision, they are drifting from trend to trend, from fancy to fancy, from what everybody's talking or what is going viral, what is trending. They'll go from that to that without necessarily having a clear vision of where they want to go. Remember, vision is strength. If you have a clear vision of where you want to go, that is strength for you. So I just wanted to share these elements together with you. The word career is just very narrow. You got to think of, how do I fulfill my destiny? What makes my heart sing? What is it that allows me to express the very best of myself without necessarily thinking about money, although money is an important part in survival, in paying your bills, and there's a practical side to financial success as well. So, in summary, I want to ask you, what is your life's purpose? What are you put here on earth for? If somebody asks you that question, do you have some degree of clarity, or do you struggle and say, I don't know, I want to become this? Yeah, that's still part of your profession. What do you want to leave this world with? The gifts and talents that God gave you, how will you bless the world? How will you bless our country that has just celebrated 75 years? What is the impact you want to leave on India? Those are the questions you need to ask first, and then all the career related choices will flow through out of that question. I hope this helps you.